In the case of Gina Carano versus the Walt Disney Company, Gina is winning again. Now, the Gina Carano story is one we've been covering since the very first days that I've been on YouTube. Matter of fact, the whole issue of Gina Carano being let go from Lucasfilm happened just a few weeks after we began our first video here for the Renegade Nation. Following the previous news from a couple of months ago, where Gina Carano scored a small but certainly mighty victory over the House of Mouse in court in California, where the judge was completely disinclined to acquiesce to Disney's request for a dismissal based on a somewhat erroneous First Amendment claim, something that Disney seems to go back to time and time again. Well, now there's an update here from Bloomberg Law. Today, Disney denied an early review of Mandalorian actor's bias suit, because now a famous appellate court has concurred with the lower court, thinking that, no, this doesn't need to be dismissed. Things might just need to proceed on to trial as planned. Renegade Online. Well, folks, welcome back. Another great day here at Valiant Renegade. It's good to see everybody out there once again. And if you are like one of the many watching this video, not yet subscribed to this channel, please take a moment and turn that little red subscribe button to gray. Hit that like button, hit that notification bell, share this sucker out on the social medias. And of course, please do leave a comment before you head out the door today. Make sure to join us every Sunday and Wednesday afternoon at 6 p.m. Eastern for the live show. And today we have a special one covering the Netflix earnings call on Thursday, October 17th. Make sure you check in with that one. We'll begin at about 4:30 p.m. Eastern. So once again, from Bloomberg, a bit of an update here. Disney has been denied early review of the Mandalorian actor. That would be Gina Carano's bias suit. The Walt Disney Company lost its bid to get immediate appellate review of former Mandalorian star Gina Carano's discrimination lawsuit against Disney. Disney's request for immediate review by the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit, yep, the U.S. Ninth Circus, as Rush Limbaugh used to call it, over whether the First Amendment protected its ability as an artistic entity to make casting decisions by removing someone whose advocacy harmed its own expression isn't purely a question of law, Judge Sherilyn Peace Garnett said in an order entered on Wednesday. Certifying this question, along with 4 other issues on free speech, wouldn't advance the case towards termination, Garnett said, nor did Disney identify a significant difference of opinion like a circuit split. The mixed martial artist turned actor sued the media giant earlier this year, alleging that her character, that would be Cara Dune from The Mandalorian fame, was written off the show mainly because of her political views on issues ranging from gender identity, COVID-19, vaccines, and the 2020 election. The Walt Disney Company was unable to get the suit dismissed from the U.S. District Court for the Central District of California. Elon Musk is financing that lawsuit, and according to Bloomberg Law, Gina Carano's case may test the boundaries of California, unique in protecting employees who are politically active outside their workplace from employer retaliation. And from Gina Carano herself, update. After the judge denied Disney's request to dismiss my case, Disney requested permission to immediately appeal that decision to the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals and delay all discovery while that appeal takes place. On yesterday, October 16th, 2024, we learned that the judge denied Disney's unusual request. I am obviously very pleased with the opportunity to keep moving forward with the judicial process and into discovery, something that the Walt Disney Company, I assure you, does not want to do. While I wish this was not necessary, as it is not my desire to be in this battle in court, I will not shrink away from it because it is hard or uncomfortable. Again, a huge thanks to all of you who have shown me support daily, to my incredible lawyers and to Elon Musk and the people at X for the opportunity in continuing this lawsuit and seeking justice. As we've discussed previously, Disney almost certainly does not want to go to discovery because that discovery, if it's actually going to wind up going to trial, is likely all going to wind up in the public eye. And there's probably quite a few things that Disney would not like the average folks out there to see, the normies, the moms, dads, and families. And it probably has a lot to do with the fact that Gina Carano reportedly, I would assume, given this lawsuit and the fact that she's not going to walk in there empty-handed, likely has quite a few things like direct messages or emails back and forth with certain Lucasfilm people, certain high-ranking Disney employees that might make them look terrible. Because one of the things at this point that is almost a foregone conclusion is that there was an absolute mass amount of bullying going on inside of Lucasfilm against anyone who dared to have the type of opinions on things that Gina Carano did. Of course, we've shown before how certain very offensive opinions to half the country from folks like Mark Hamill or even Pedro Pascal, the Mandalorian himself, Din Djarin, well, they got away with those because, as Disney stated in one of its own legal responses, they get to pick and choose who and what opinions they affiliate themselves with. Well, that means that Disney clearly affiliates or chooses to affiliate themselves with people who say that Donald Trump supporters, for example, have everything in common with a certain German political faction from the Weimar Republic and into the 1940s. No matter how you lay this out, this is another big loss for the Walt Disney Company and another win for Gina. And of course, as we've been chronicling the last several years, this isn't the only thing that Disney has found itself embroiled in when it comes to high-profile legal battles, many of which they seem to have brought upon themselves. Now, of course, we covered all the issue with the former Reedy Creek Improvement District, Disney's personal kingdom in the state of Florida that was stripped from them after trying to get into a fight, not only with the governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis, the entire Republican-controlled state legislature, but also, frankly, the Florida voters themselves, who put those very people into the position they're in with the very goals and desires of passing things like House Bill 1557, the Parental Rights and Education Bill. Yeah, Disney and their kooks inside that company had to get entangled in all of that to their own detriment. And of course, Florida finally had the willpower to do what they should have done decades ago and stripped Disney of its political autonomy, or virtual political autonomy, at least insofar as the special taxing district. Now they're playing by the same rules as everybody else in the state of Florida that has a special taxing district. And if you recall, in that case too, Disney tried to use the First Amendment argument against the governor, the state, and the newly appointed Central Florida Tourism Oversight District Board. All of those things were effectively tossed out. The courts wanted to have none of it because it was a ridiculous claim by all accounts. Even laymen could see that it made no sense because Disney simply didn't have a right to have its own personal government. But now, in the case of Gina Carano, the Walt Disney Company wants to try the same argument. Well, we're an entertainment company. We have First Amendment rights. I'm beginning to think that Disney honestly believes that the First Amendment gives them protections to do whatever the hell they want simply because they make films and television shows. It's an absolutely ridiculous argument. Certainly, the freedom of creative expression should be protected, but there is a fine line between doing that and trampling on the rights of other people in order to get there. See, the Constitution doesn't afford you the ability to take the rights from other people in the guise of exercising your own. The question now becomes this for the Walt Disney Company. How do they proceed from here? Obviously, they wanted to do everything that they could not to reach the discovery phase, and certainly not to reach a public trial. And this phase that we're in now, if you recall, well, it's going to go on for roughly another year. We're looking at July or August, September of next year, in fact, before we really get to the point where anything might actually show up in court. And a lot could happen between now and then. For example, Disney could offer some type of settlement to Gina Carano for which she could either accept or deny. And the question is, will she? If the offer comes back with something of a public apology for the way she was treated, she might just take it. But somehow I seem to doubt the Walt Disney Company will even bother to go down that road because they're so narcissistic and so full of their own crap that they can't ever seem to apologize for much of anything. But Disney takes another L. And that's just fine by us because they keep doing this to themselves. And I'm glad Very glad that somebody out there like Gina Carano and frankly like Elon Musk are willing to stand up and do what needs to be done. People with the courage to stand up to the corporate bullying of places like the Walt Disney Company that frankly America is just getting sick of. Make sure you're subscribed to Valiant Renegade and join us every Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern for the live show.